GTA actor Newbon has made his stance on AI pretty clear. Forming the Pixel Pack earlier this year, that includes actors like Erika Aishi, Troy Baker, Matt Mercer, and several of his Baldur's Gate 3 alumni, he clearly believes that AI voice acting has no place in video games. Ahead of the Game Awards, I caught up with the starring himself to talk about all things AI, including Embark's choice to use text-to-speech voiceover in its award-winning multiplayer game, Arc Raiders. One of the things that I think is interesting is obviously there's a lot of conversation about AI right now, right? And I think you've made your stance with the Pixel Pack on that incredibly clear.
Yeah, I think my quote was "fuck AI in performance," something like that.
And I like that one very much. And I think it's interesting that we've got that, and you've got like Baldur's Gate, for example, Expedition 33, Final Fantasy, whatever. But then you see something like Arc Raiders, which goes and it uses AI voices, and then you see things like Call of
Yeah,
Duty Black Ops, which has used Gen AI in its battle passes and whatever. So,
yeah.
what are your kind of thoughts on that? Are we going? It seems like AAA is going backward a little bit, and AA is going forward a bit.
It's not
But what
really
are your thoughts on that?
the amount of money, comparatively speaking, the amount of money it costs to do those voice lines compared to the rest of the game's development is peanuts. I don't really get, especially when a game's successful. I don't really get why people then don't go and go, well, at the time we couldn't afford to do it, or it's too much, too difficult. But now we've super successful. Why don't we go back and actually redo the lines with actors? That's an option. I'm just saying. I don't really get it. I don't really see. I don't think there's a justification for taking people's jobs away. I don't really think it's legitimate, especially when you're dealing with very big budgets, because the amount of money it takes to record voice lines, whether or not you're then going to put them into a generative whatever, I don't know enough about that stuff to be honest to comment on that.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to not record the lines in the first place and just use AI to take somebody's voice and just manipulate it however the hell you want, I think then that's a problem because you're robbing that performer of that day's fee, and you're robbing that performer of the ability to look after himself or herself or themselves or their family, or the fact that most actors notoriously are not rich. Most of us struggle, if not our entire career, most of our career. If we're very lucky, we get to do nothing else. But most of us have part-time jobs or had part-time jobs. So the justification of it's difficult or oh we couldn't really afford it. It's like then maybe find a way now that you've made your money to go back over those lines and do it better. The other thing is as well, it sounds boring. I've heard generative AI. It's dull as hell. It's really boring. I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it takes me out of the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying, oh, it helps the immersion because it's reactive. It's like, yeah, but it takes me out of the experience because I just hear something that doesn't sound like a human being in jeopardy or in combat or in excitement or whatever the emotion you were supposed to be aiming for, I guess. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
No matter how good it sounds, there's something about it doesn't quite sit with you.
Yeah.
And that's uncanny valley territory. That's human reaction. So yeah, I don't really care about generative AI because it sounds crap.
Yeah.
It still sounds crap, no matter how advanced it's getting. It still sounds not right.
Yeah.
And I would say to anybody that's made a shit ton of money off a release that uses generative AI for voices, maybe go back to those actors that you paid, well, however much money you paid them to clone their voices. Maybe get them in the booth and re-record that stuff. Just saying, you got the money now, spread the wealth. I
Mm-hmm.
think it would definitely do a lot of good for the actors. It would definitely do a lot of goodwill in the community, I think, because a lot of people have a feeling about this as well.
Yeah.
And I think for longevity, probably a good idea to do that out of decency. Just a thought. I'm not a game developer, so what do I know?
Neil's stance is pretty clear. Fuck AI and performance. As the technology continues to divide, keep up with PC Games In for all of the latest news.